Hi everybody, Professor Rad here, and today we're going to graph a table of points on a Cartesian plane. So in the last video about the Cartesian plane, our coordinate axes were already drawn for us, and in this video we're going to draw them ourselves based off of the types of numbers that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and get started. So it says draw a Cartesian plane and graph the points from the table below. You don't have to label your points for this problem. Okay, so to draw the plane, that means we have to draw the x-axis and the y-axis. So I'm going to look for the smallest x value and the biggest x value. In other words, the biggest negative, which appears to be -4, and the biggest positive, which appears to be 5. So for example, if I wanted to call this one -4, if I'm counting -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, that's not going to work because I don't have enough space. But if I called this, say, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that would be good. So I think what I might do is I might go from -6 to +6. Let's see. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so when I go to graph it on this space, I know I'm going to start with -6 on the left. What I don't know is whether I should draw my x-axis down here or up here or right in the middle. So to figure that out, I'm going to look at my dependent variable. Oh, and just as a reminder, x is our independent, y is our dependent variable. Okay, so when I look at these values, my biggest negative is -3, and my biggest positive is 5. And I notice that there's a 1.5 here. So, I don't know if I can go from -3 up to 5 by halves. Let's see if we could. So if this is -3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Nope. So I'm going to have to count by ones here as well. So I might as well go from -6 to +6. Yeah, I could do that. So I think I'm going to draw my axes in the middle of this grid. So I do horizontal axis here. That's my x-axis. And then the y-axis here. Now, when I label my scale, I don't have to label every single line, but I do want to label enough so that it's kind of clear what I'm counting by. So I'm going to draw little tick marks, and I'm going to count by 3s, I think. You could count by 2s if you wanted to, or by 1s, whatever works best for you. 1, 2, 3, 6, 3, 6. All right. Now, when I go to plot these points, the way that they're set up in this table is so that the x value is in this first column and the y value is in the second column. So for example, this row where I have a -4 and then a 5, that corresponds to the ordered pair -4, 5. So as a reminder, I start at 0, and I'm going to go to the left to -4, and then I'm going to go up to +5, and I'm going to plot that point. Now these points don't have names, so I don't have to label them. Then I have -2.1, -3. Now I didn't have a whole lot of space to be able to kind of break this up. So I know -2.1, I have to go to -2, and then a little bit after. So I'm kind of approximating here where -2.1 would be. And then I'm going to go down to -3, which is right here. So we get about there. All right, so let's go ahead and do the next one. We have an x value of 0, and a y value of 4. So remember, when the x value is 0, that means you don't go left or right at all. So I'm going to be graphing right on the y-axis, and I'm going to go up to the 4. All right, then we have 3, 1.5. So here's 3. Now this first line is 1. The next one is 2. So 1.5 is halfway between those two. So I'll plot that point right there. And then lastly, we have 5, -3. So I'm going to go over to 5 and then down to the line where -3 is. So right here. Now, if you wanted to, you could label the points with their coordinates. It says you don't have to label them, but if you wanted to, for example, I would label this one as -4, 5, since its coordinates are at -4, 5. This one, -2.1, -3, since we went to -2.1 down to -3, and so on. All right, so here is a problem that you can try on your own. So you have another table of points. Draw a Cartesian plane to help you graph those points. And you don't have to label them, but if you want to practice, you can. In the next video, we'll be beginning our very last section for the course, where we talk about solving equations. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.